continues tonight. The 2009 Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. The number 10 Ohio State Buckeyes and the third-ranked Texas Longhorns. And welcome alongside two-time All-American Tim Ryan, Matt Vasgersian, Ohio State and Texas. Two teams that, despite their successes this season, still feel as though they've got something to prove tonight. Ohio State eager to get past its BCS disappointments the last 2 years. And the Texas Longhorns, a play away from an undefeated season, feel like they're the ones, not Oklahoma, that should be playing for the national championship on Thursday. Tim, let's talk about these contrasting offensive styles, and starting with the Longhorns.
Well, starting with the Longhorns, I mean, they are fun to watch on the offensive side of the ball. They're led by their quarterback, Colt McCoy, and he's thrown for 32 touchdown passes. He's one of the best playmakers in all of college football. His accuracy, Matt, is off the charts, but where I think he's underrated is as a runner. He's run for 10 touchdowns. When he takes off, rarely does he get caught, and when he does, he's hard to bring down. He's got great lower body strength and balance. He'll present some problems now for that Ohio State defense today. When you talk about Ohio State, to me, their playmaker has got to be their running back, Chris Beanie Wells. He is a true power back. He's close to 240 pounds, and when you look at Texas on defense, they have not seen a runner like him all year long. He has got to have a big game. I think if he doesn't, it will shift most of that pressure to score points on the true freshman quarterback, Terrell Pryor, and I do not think Ohio State wants that to happen.
The quarterback story is an interesting contest, and here come the Ohio State Buckeyes. No school has made more BCS appearances than the Ohio State Buckeyes. Guiding the offense, quarterback Terrell Pryor, who was a true freshman, led the Big Ten in passing efficiency. But the Buckeyes' strength this season has been their defense. Two-time consensus All-American linebacker James Laurinaitis helps Ohio State claim the country's number 7 pass defense, with fellow All-American cornerback Malcolm Jenkins being one of the best secondaries in the country. The Buckeyes hope that a defense and a steady dose of 240-pound tailback Beanie Wells can pound Texas into submission in the desert tonight to send 28 seniors off as the winningest class in the history of the program. And here come the Longhorns. Texas is making their third BCS appearance in the last 5 years, and led by Heisman runner-up Colt McCoy, have rewritten virtually every passing record in the school's rich history. The Longhorns average just under 44 points of contact and have racked up 400 yards of offense in all but one game this season. On defense, Nagurski Award winner Brian Arakpo angers the country's most prolific sack attack. But make no mistake, Texas wins with high-powered offense. Tonight, Jordan Shipley and the Longhorns test their aerial game against one of the nation's top pass defenses. We're back with more from the 2009 Tostitos Fiesta Bowl right after this. We are moments away from kickoff on one of the most eagerly anticipated matchups this entire bowl season. But before we start things out, we check in with the third and fourth members of our broadcast crew. First, Laura Oakman on the field.
Thank you, Matt. I'm standing here with Coach Jim Trussell, very anxious coach. This is your 43rd postseason game you have coached. That includes 9 national championships on all college levels. This week you said you have never been more excited about a game than this one. What makes right now so special?
These 28 seniors have been special. They've been unselfish. We're playing against one of the great programs in the nation. Mac Brown has got a special program. Doesn't get any better than this.
No, all right, Coach.
Thanks,
good
Lori.
luck tonight. Now for the other side of the story, let's go to the other side of the field. Chris Myers.
Thanks, Laura. With Mac Brown ready to kick off, you know, Ohio State played the BCS title game the last 2 years. Many feel you could be in that game this year. Is there an emotional edge?
When Texas is playing Ohio State, Chris, they better both be jacked, and I think they are tonight. What a great environment for this game.
Given the circumstances, do you feel like you need to do more than just win the game?
Now, when you're playing Ohio State, you better worry about winning first.
Well, have fun tonight. Good luck, Coach.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, 38 days since they last played. They're anxious and ready to go, Matt.
Boy, and Chris, it's a sold-out crowd that is cut just about right down the middle. A lot of folks in orange making noise, a lot of folks in Buckeye red just as loud as Justin Tucker starts things out tonight. Lamar Thomas takes the opening kick for the Buckeyes. He's across the 25 and met head on at the 27-yard line. And that's where the true freshman quarterback Terrell Pryor will start his first ever bowl experience. The Big Ten Freshman of the Year, who took over midseason and proceeded to lead the Buckeyes to an 8-1 record as a starter.
But he got better too, Matt, as the season went down towards the end. And I think one thing they're excited about is that he's had about a month to work on himself, to work on his fundamentals. Terrell Pryor, remember when he was installed in the 4th game of the season, it was about getting ready for the opponent. I think he's used the last month of the season to get his game right. They're starting with a little different formation with Beckman at quarterback.
And we've got Terrell Pryor split wide at the top of your screen. It's Todd Beckman taking snaps. He began the season as the starting quarterback, and his first pass of the game is complete for a first down to Brian Robisky. Well, Jim Tressel promised to shake things up today. We didn't think it was going to come on the first snap of the evening. You know, we list Pryor as your starting signal caller, but we see otherwise now. It's a very young center, the true freshman Mike Brewster, but now all bets are off.
Well, I tried to get him to give up the other day in our meetings, Terrell Pryor, where he would be lining up in that formation. We almost had him, but now we know when they run it, he's going to split out wide. At least he did that time.
He hands it off to Beanie Wells, who breaks into the secondary, dragging the freshman safety Earl Thomas for a first down and more. A 22-yard gain.
That's what I was talking about early with Beanie Wells, was he's going to get on those safeties, and he's going to be hard to bring down. They catch him in a slant. Watch Melton go down that way. Beanie's going to get right up in the hole. And then you see the natural crease right there with the offensive lineman coming around. He shakes down the first safety, Blake Gideon, and then carries Earl Thomas for about another 8 yards. Those are those 2 young safeties that are going to have to make plays down the middle of the field on the big running back, Chris Wells.
Beanie Wells, despite missing 3 games with foot and hamstring injuries, over 1,000 yards this year. Beckman under center, Pryor in the flat rather, and that one's almost picked off by Rashad Bobineau.
This is what Brian Arakpo does. It's all based on his get off the defensive end, and he's the guy that put heat on Beckman that time. Here he comes. Look at the get off. I mean, he is 2 steps into his pass rush before Alex Boone even gets off the football, forced Beckman to throw it, and then Beckman, he just unloads this football right here. He's about to get hit and forces that thing to take a nosedive. You saw the receiver on the crossing route behind the linebackers. That was all Brian Arakpo right there, who
Beanie Wells has already rushed for 26 yards. Some 7 minutes into the night. Pryor feels the heat. Here comes Sergio Kindle, and he gets to the quarterback. Right behind Brian Arakpo's sack total, you'll find Sergio Kindle. That was his 10th of the season. Coach Muschamp, as always, pumped up tonight.
Well, his defenders love him too. Watch Sergio Kindle, number 2, as he's going to get off the ball. He takes an inside rush on Brian Brown. He's fighting with him. Now here's his ability to finish. You know, you look at Terrell Pryor, and he's so calm back there because he's got so much ability. Well, he was matched in ability that time by Sergio Kindle, who was able to walk him down and get a sack.
Texas.
Before a 50-yard field goal attempt, a timeout on the field. Ohio State trying to score first. Jim Tressel employs 2 field goal kickers, and Petrie is the long guy. He has hit from as far away as 54, and he's only had 5 attempts this year. He has hit all 5 of them. So a long one to try to put the Buckeyes on the scoreboard first. Aaron Petrie had enough to hit from 56 or 57. Underway in Phoenix. 3-0 Buckeyes. Now, Jim Tressel watched a 9-play drive that resulted in what was officially a 51-yard field goal. That puts the Buckeyes on the scoreboard first tonight. And Aaron Petrie, fresh off the 51-yard boot, is set to kick it away for the Buckeyes. Jordan Shipley and Quan Cosby deep for Texas. This will be Cosby. Cosby gets it to the 20 before he hits a wall and is pushed backward. It's Obaniah with McCoy on 1st and 10. McCoy runs the play fake, looking for Kirkendall and a first down. James Kirkendall, the sophomore wideout from Round Rock, Texas, has his second reception of the night, a 13-yard gain.
Well, just got the corner. Chimney Chekwa to spin his hips. Kirkendall plays a lot now. You'll see a lot of Kirkendall. You'll see a lot of Malcolm Williams, guys, that Brandon Collins, guys that come in and play as part of that 3 and 4 wide receiver package.
This is likely to be our last play of this opening quarter. McCoy with the quick pass out. Cosby, who burns 2 defenders and has another Texas first down. Chimney Chekwa finally brings him down at the 38. A 15-yard gain.
Well, just a quick bubble screen, and again, I think any way they can get the ball in space to their playmakers, they're going to do it. Colt McCoy right there to Quan Cosby, gets 1 block from Jordan Shipley, and as I said earlier, he just becomes a return man immediately.
And in the hurry-up offense, McCoy finds Kirkendall prior to the clock winding down on this first quarter in Glendale. Our score after a quarter, Buckeyes 3, Longhorns 0. We'll return right after this. 3-0 Ohio State as we start the second quarter. Boy, I don't even think the folks in Columbus had this one 3-0 after 1 quarter of play. A surprisingly low-scoring opening quarter. The short yardage back, Cody Johnson, the redshirt freshman, checks in with McCoy on 2nd and a yard. Johnson has it across the 30, and on a second effort, looks like he has the Longhorns first down.
You got to think Jim Tressel feels good about his football team so far when you talk about keeping this Texas offense out of the end zone for the first quarter of play.
First and goal. With Obaniah in the backfield, they like to throw to him. He helps McCoy in the form of a block, and down goes Colt McCoy. Doug Worthington, the junior defensive tackle, leading the charge.
They sprint out to the right. You'll see Texas do a lot of this. They'll slide the whole line to the right. The quarterback will run to the right. But watch this guy here. There's the guy, Hayward, who hems him up. Worthington comes underneath, but because Cameron Hayward was coming from the outside, McCoy had nowhere to reverse field and escape to, and Worthington comes up with the sack.
A 9-yard loss. It brings up a second and goal. Bear in mind that Texas has been deadly in the red zone this year. This is Obaniah. A gain of maybe 2 as he's inside the 20. 50 touchdowns, Tim, in the Longhorns' 64 trips into the red zone this year.
They've been unbelievable. And you look at Colt McCoy's numbers into the red zone, and 19 touchdowns to 1 interception for Colt McCoy when he's down in the red zone, in the money zone, trying to get points. Whoa.
Well, what does Mack Brown and Greg Davis cook up here on 3rd down? McCoy over the middle for a short gainer. Rarely do the Longhorns throw to their tight ends, but Peter Ullman, the 5th-year senior out of Austin, makes the reception. That's just his 7th career grab. It's an 8-yard gain that'll bring out the field goal unit for Texas.
And that was just getting your kicker closer. McCoy had nobody open down the field. Just a good job. They were in man-free coverage, which is they had everybody manned up with a free guy on the back end, and he just had to go to his check down to the middle of the field, the tight end, to get his kicker closer for a field goal opportunity.
This will be from 27 yards away. Lawrence is 9 of 11 on the year. And the Longhorns, with 11:45 left in the half, have tied it at 3. So far, it has been defense and an Ohio State ground game that's been the story of this first half. A 3-3 score with 11:45 left here in the second quarter. Justin Tucker is set to kick it away. Boom Herron and Lamar Thomas are the deep men for the Buckeyes. Thomas from the 7. He gets by one tackler, but is dropped at the 20-yard line. It's 1st and 10 from the 21. Pryor hands it to Beanie Wells, who's had a big half. He slips through and into the secondary and has a Buckeye first down.
Ohio State is dominant right now at the line of scrimmage. I mean, they are getting movement across the board. Watch Alex Boone and Benny Pearson to your left just wash guys down the line of scrimmage. And you get one good kick-out block there by the backside offensive guard. Then again, it's Chris Wells up on those young safeties. He took Blake Gideon about 4 yards backwards once Gideon came up and made contact with him.
Wells is averaging 5.5 yards a carry this year. Tonight, he's averaging just under 8 yards a carry. The pitch back to Beanie Wells, cuts right through the line. Wells inside the 20. The Texas defense has no answer for the 237-pound downhill runner.
And Roderick McElroy, he just does not spill this. And when you say spill it, he's got to get up there and force it to the outside. Watch as he takes on the tight end. He just gets lost. And instead of getting up and keeping his inside shoulder free, McElroy, and forcing that thing to bounce to his help, he gets caught up with the blocker. Beanie Wells sees it and just creases him straight downhill.
On 1st and 10, Wells comes off in favor of Boom Herron. Dane Sonsenbacher, the wideout, in motion. Pryor looks his way. Here comes the pass rush. Pryor with wide open spaces in front of him. Still going as he's out of bounds at the 5. They mark him out at the 7 after a 7-yard gain on a broken play.
Well, this is what he can do and what he's done all year, and why you called him a Z factor with his legs. Watch the pressure come right up here from Roy Miller. He wants a screen there. It's covered. So now he just takes off and runs, and he never panics. I think that's what you have to like, and he can break tackles out in the open field. But Terrell Pryor never panics when he's back there because he's so talented physically. He knows that his physical skills can get him out of most of the trouble.
Flags are down.
Ball start.
It's going to hurt.
70 offense. 5-yard penalty.
You're very third manageable at 3rd and 2. Bryant Browning, the right tackle, just flinches a little bit. Texas picked up on it, as did the officials. Move him back 5.
Bryant Browning, the sophomore from Cleveland, guilty of the penalty. And that's a flinch that's pretty easy to pick up. Both of the quarterbacks are on the field now. Todd Beckman under center. Pryor wide at the bottom of your screen. Beckman over the middle. Great pass defense by the only returning member of the Longhorns secondary, the veteran Ryan Palmer.
Good pass defense behind the blitz, because they're going to send pressure at Beckman, and it's going to come right left. As he looks out to his left, he knows here comes the pressure, and he unloads it man coverage, and Ryan Palmer is just all over Hartline right there. He had no chance. This terrific pass defense coming over the top and getting a bat down.
The 29-year-old South African-born kicker Ryan Pretorius is on for a 30-yard attempt. And Pretorius is up and good. Everything on field goals so far in Glendale. But it's really a good news, bad news situation for Ohio State. They've racked up almost 200 yards in total offense here with 5:39 left in the half. However, they've got a total of 6 points to show for their efforts so far.
Well, that's an area Texas defensively has been very good all year. When they've got their backs against the wall down in the red zone, they've held opponents to more field goals than touchdowns all season.
Aaron Petrie will kick it away. Shipley and Cosby are deep for the Longhorns. Jordan Shipley, one of 4 players in FBS to take a kick and a punt back for a touchdown. No such success here. Again, the Longhorns with 1 timeout. The McCoy deep single coverage. Chris Obanaya breaks it into Buckeye territory. Back-to-back receptions for the tailback. That last one, a big one, a gain of 37 yards.
Well, and he's very versatile. He's just going to run the takeoff route right here and just go by Chimdi Checkwa. You see that little stutter right there? That forced Checkwa to stop his feet. Then he turned back on the jets, did Obanaya to get a little gap of separation to come down with the catch.
Fozzie Whitaker on for Obanaya. That one complete over the middle of Quan Cosby, who breaks a tackle. And they'll mark him down right at the first down marker. 22 seconds remaining in the half, and this is the Texas offense that the folks in Austin have been used to watching all year.
Yeah, one big pop down the sideline, the hurry-up offense. McCoy gets right back to the line of scrimmage, diagnoses a linebacker blitz with Freeman coming, and picks the slant route right behind his back.
Major Applewhite, the running backs coach of the Longhorns, helped directing the offensive charge led by coordinator Greg Davis. It is such a well-designed Longhorns offense.
There's the matchup.
That's the tailback, Fozzie Whitaker, at the bottom of the screen on the linebacker, Ross Holman. The pass goes the other way to Quan Cosby. And Texas is inside the Buckeyes 20. So Cosby gets out of bounds at the 18. It brings up a 2nd and 5. Again, Texas has a timeout left. .73 yards so far on the drive. McCoy rolling left. Finds Shipley. Shipley's out of bounds at the 15. We talked about the potential that both Quan Cosby and Jordan Shipley had today in becoming the first set of Longhorns teammates to each go over 1,000 receiving yards. And that has happened here in the moments prior to halftime.
McCoy told us, Colt the other day told us that he most guys only have one. He goes, I genuinely have two #1 wide receivers in Shipley and Quan Cosby.
3rd and short. For the end zone, intercepted. Anderson Russell. The junior from Atlanta stepped in front of a floater intended for Cosby, and that's where the Longhorn drive dies.
This is just a bad throw from Colt McCoy. I think he wanted Brandon Collins, but he didn't get enough air under the ball. He just floated it out there, and Russell Anderson goes and picks it off. I mean, you saw Brandon Collins was behind the defender. That's just a bad throw from the quarterback. He completely underthrew that football, which allowed the safety to undercut it.
Boy, at the start of the game, Colt McCoy had thrown 19 touchdowns and only 1 interception in the red zone this year. That 2nd pick of the season in the red zone.
That is the end of the 2nd quarter.
As we go to halftime without seeing a touchdown in the first half. 6-3 Ohio State. Stay tuned for the Southwest Airlines halftime report after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. A lot of defensive highlights, a game known for its big offensive numbers, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, and we're looking at a 6-3 score getting ready for the second half. Back alongside Tim Ryan, Matt Veskers, just like we figured, right? 6-3 at halftime.
Yeah, right. I'll tell you, Beanie Wells has had a terrific first half. He's 4 yards short of 100 yards, and I think it's exactly what Ohio State wanted to do. They wanted to own the line of scrimmage, and they have against Texas. And you see Beanie Wells carrying safeties down the field. He's had some very good running lanes to run through because his offensive line and his tight ends have provided some big holes and some nice creases for him. So if I'm Texas defensively, I do a couple of things if I'm Will Muschamp, the defensive coordinator. I'm going to think long and hard about inserting an extra safety up into the box to at least have 8 defenders in the box to help defend that run, especially when there's a fullback on the field. And then they've got to figure out some type of way, whether it be Sergio Kendall or one of their athletes on defense, to spy Terrell Pryor, because he has made some big plays with his legs in the first half of the football game.
Pryor has kept things going offensively as we're ready to kick things away. The Longhorns will receive They won the toss and elected to defer to start the football game. It's a frustrated Mack Brown.
Well, he should be frustrated. His team hasn't showed up in the first half of this football game. This is a club that averages 44 points a game. To walk in after 30 minutes of football with 3 on the board, that's not going to get it done.
Aaron Petrie ready to kick off the second half. Shipley drops himself. Tripwire got him in the end zone. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 20 for the Longhorns as we check in on the field with Laura Oakman.
Thank you, Matt. I want to start with some good news. The status of Sean Lane, who we saw carted off the field in the first half. He has been taken to the hospital, but strictly as a precautionary measure. He is moving both arms, both legs. He was never unconscious. That's good news. I also talked to Jim Tressel, who said, we have to fight like crazy. He gathered his guys in the tunnel, and he said, we have 30 minutes. We need to play like we have never played before. It is going to come down to the last play. Matt?
Well, a lot closer, certainly, and a lot lower scoring than any of the experts had this one through a half. Laura, thanks. 1st and 10 for the Longhorns as the second half is underway. Fozzie Whitaker's the back with McCoy. He takes the handoff across the 20 and gains a couple before being stopped. Let's check in down on the field with Chris Myers.
Matt, there's a lot of hollering coming out of the Texas locker room, and it wasn't celebrating at halftime. Mack Brown said he wasn't surprised by the score. Defensively, they've got to stop Pryor from making plays with his legs. Offensively, they've had some run plays called for Colt McCoy, but the Ohio State defense has taken it away, that option. We expect to see more of that. Mack says we have to run the ball inside and keep the ball longer, sustain some drives. He told Colt after the interception, don't worry about that. You've made a lot of throws that have been successful for us all year long. Keep firing.
Chris, thanks. His second down pass incomplete, brings up a 3rd and 8.
I'll tell you what they've done defensively, Ohio State, on Colt McCoy to not allow him to get those runs. They've done a good job of spying him with secondary contained linebackers, whether it be Marcus Freeman or James Laurinaitis. They've always had a guy in his face when he rolls outside of the pocket.
Longhorns 3 of 8 on 3rd down in the first half. They convert on their first chance here in the second half. James Kirkendall has put together a big evening. A 9-yard gain and a 1st down for the Longhorns. Boy, that rushing number really tells the story.
That's the story of the game right there. And then really this one, the interception by Anderson Russell down in the red zone, where Colt McCoy has been great all year long. He's had 1 touchdown down, or 1 interception, excuse me, in the red zone all year.
2nd and 13. McCoy escapes. McCoy still going, and down near the 1st down marker, he'll be a few yards short before being stopped by Donald Washington. You know, Terrell Pryor's not the only quarterback in this matchup that can run the football.
Here's the replay. There's Laurinaitis, who's covering the tight end on the little stick route. As the tight end kicks back out, he just basically runs interference on Laurinaitis. Does a good job, really, screening off 2 guys. Laurinaitis, then Donald Washington, to buy Colt McCoy some extra yards.
Well, it's been a 7-play drive assisted by a pass interference call. 3rd and a yard on the Buckeyes 46 for Colt McCoy and the Longhorns. The short yardage specialist Cody Johnson, the red shirt freshman, is checked in. Johnson carries. He drags Laurinaitis with him, but he'll be short of the 1st down.
They are all over this running game today. Ohio State on defense. This is going to be a run blitz. Watch the left side of your screen. Laurinaitis is going to come right down inside, knife his body up under Charlie Tanner, the offensive guard, and hit that little gut play before it could even get started. They have done a nice job defensively. Anytime Texas has tried to run the football for the most part, and they haven't tried a lot, with the exception of 1 play, Ohio State defensively have been all over it.
James Laurinaitis, one of the most highly decorated linebackers in the rich linebacking history of the Ohio State Buckeyes, as the fake on 4th and short might fall just short. We'll see where they mark it. The Longhorns are acting as though they've got the 1st down. 1st down, Longhorns.
Just a direct snap right to the up back, right there. Pretty good surge by the offensive line in front of him. Does a nice job by just finding a little crease. Rashad Bobineau right there. He looks off to the right and then back to the left. Just enough right at the 1st down stick.
1st and 10. been a 6-minute drive for Texas. The play fake. And McCoy finds Obanaya over the middle. There's a flag down in the backfield as McCoy took a late hit. This might be the second time they flagged Thaddeus Gibson.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 90 on the defense, illegal contact to the head, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Well, great move to get by Ulatowski, but then here he is here. He's going to work it, come back inside, throw the tackle by, and then bam, there's the hit. Put the crown of his helmet right on the ear hole. Bam, right there. I don't know, actually got him up under the shoulder pad.
Jim Tressel is furious. You can hear the Buckeye fans here in the stadium as they react to the replay here on the video screens. It's going to put the ball inside the 15. 1st and 10 for the Longhorns at the Buckeyes' 14-yard line.
I think that was a legitimate hit, but one that was hard for the referee to call from his vantage point, because I'm sure from his vantage point it looked like a helmet-to-helmet shot on Colt McCoy, but in fact it wasn't.
Longhorns into the red zone for the 3rd time tonight. This is McCoy doing it himself. Touchdown, Texas! Colt McCoy did a nifty dance step to get around Malcolm Jenkins and scores his 100th career touchdown. Mr. and Mrs. McCoy can finally break out a smile. Texas has its first lead of the game, as Hunter Lawrence makes it a 4-point advantage. After the penalty, the point after is good. A 15-play, 80-yard drive makes it 10-6 Texas. Longest drive of the season by the Texas Longhorns. 15 plays, over 6 minutes of clock. And as is customary, Colt McCoy gets right on the headset with his offensive coordinator, Greg Davis, to talk about the 80-yard TD drive.
Well, and that's what we were looking for in the first half. And of course, the drive was continued with a really, I thought, a bad call on Thaddeus Gibson on a late hit, helmet-to-helmet on the quarterback. Clearly, to me, it wasn't. But what we wanted to see out of Colt McCoy, and I think what the Texas fans wanted to see, was the guy making plays with his legs. And on that drive, not only the touchdown, but there was another play earlier in the drive where he picked up some big yardage by breaking contain, picking up a first down by running.
Ohio State will get a chance to touch the football for the first time in the second half. Lamar Thomas will bring it back to the 30. I'd imagine that guy's a legend back in Columbus, if not in his own mind, then someplace. Terrell Pryor begins this drive for the Buckeyes in the best starting field position that either team has enjoyed so far. Maurice Wells in the backfield with him. As that pass is dropped, Dane Sonsenbacher couldn't hang on as we check in with Chris Myers.
And the 2 freshman safety for Texas, Earl Thomas and Blake Gideon, playing well tonight. Remember, the country saw those title-altering moments against Texas Tech. Gideon missing an interception opportunity towards the end. Eric Crabtree, a missed grab on him by Thomas that allowed the game-winning touchdown. They said it's part of their job to forget plays like that, but what was impressive was how their teammates reacted towards them. They said it helped them grow up. Said you always know people have your back. They showed it. And tonight, they wouldn't be the players they were until that incident and experiencing that incident.
Chris, thanks as Pryor keeps it, and nobody bought the fake. Henry Melton was there to jam him out of bounds, a loss of 4.
Well, and that's a read from the quarterback. He's going to stick it in the belly of Chris Wells, and if this guy stays upfield, he should hand it off. And that's exactly what he does. He does not crash down, that being Henry Melton. And Pryor decides he's going to keep it and try to run it around the corner, and Melton is right there to push him out of bounds for a tackle for loss. But that's his read. He's running that gut play. He sticks it in the belly. And if the DN crashes, he keeps it. If the DN stays upfield, he should hand it off. That time he did it wrong.
This is Beanie Wells. He gets back to the original line of scrimmage. Lamar Houston makes the stop after a 3-yard gain. And for the second time in as many second-half possessions, the Buckeyes go 3 and out. So A.J. Trapasso is on to punt. You know, this has been part of the Buckeyes' problem in these BCS games, in big nationally televised contests against USC and the like. The offense going south after halftime. Jordan Shipley calls for the fair catch. Longhorns will take it at the 15, and we'll be right back. Somebody get a drool rag for Bevo. Come on now. Big lunger coming out of his nose. 1st and 10 for the Longhorns. McCoy out of the shotgun. 1st down Texas. Again, it's Quan Cosby. Boy, Cosby is enjoying a fantastic night. A gain of 15.
Well, he and Colt McCoy are the #1 tandem in UT history when you talk about quarterback to wide receiver and all the hookups and all the completions from McCoy to Quan Cosby.
Cosby turned 26 in December. He's got a family. He is on a different level of maturity in his athletic career than a lot of the players on the field. This is Obadiah now, running between the tackles and crashing forward for a gain of 8 before being stopped by Kirk Coleman and Ross Holman. Second and 2 coming up for Texas. You know, Quan Cosby is a senior. He's playing in his last game as a Longhorn. He's the only one of the big-time weapons, though, that McCoy will be losing as a graduate. Jordan Shipley will be back next year as he has the 1st down, knocked out of bounds at the 45 by Coleman.
Good job of reading the blocks by Jordan Shipley. He's going to be in the inside slot, the inside guy in the slot. There's actually 2 out there, and he's going to read the block right there by Brandon Collins and then by Kirkendall. As he sees the defenders peek their head inside and try to take away the inside, he uses those blocks and just bounces it to the edge for the 1st down.
Empty backfield here on 1st and 10. Shipley again left all by himself in the middle of the field. He makes a move and trips at the 35. That's the 2nd time tonight that Jordan Shipley is tripped. This time it comes after a gain of 20.
And there was a break in coverage here for Ohio State. They took 2 defenders right here with the inside guy. See them both go there? Shipley left wide open for a big one against the defense.
And the hurry-up offense, this time it's Fozzie Whitaker taking it inside the 30-yard line. The redshirt freshman out of Houston who was slowed earlier this season with knee injuries. And the guy offensive coordinator Greg Davis calls his best all-purpose back. Flags down. Whitaker again for the 1st down if it sticks.
Well, Nathan Williams couldn't get off the field. This hurry-up offense has really stressed out Ohio State defensively. He was still in the field of play when they snapped the football. Nathan Williams was trying his best to get off before the ball got snapped, and he didn't quite
Offside,
get there.
14 on the defense. Penalty is declined. 1st down.
First and 10 from the Buckeyes 22. McCoy doing his best. Matt Hasselbeck getting in and out of the play. He runs the option look and pitches it off. Obadiah has another Longhorns 1st down. This is the Texas offense that terrorized the Big 12 all season.
Yeah, this high tempo is a problem right now for Ohio State defensively. Those guys are breathing hard. They're running everything out on the perimeter, and you can see a lot of hands on the hips and guys dragging to get up and get ready for the next snap.
Obadiah is inside the 10 this time. So it brings up a 2nd and goal.
They're not even getting lined up. They're not even getting down in their stance. And I think they were in the neutral zone that time.
You got a flag on the field. Touchdown, Texas.
I think Thaddeus Gibson was in the neutral zone, Matt. That's going to stick.
Gibson was running across the line of scrimmage trying to get into his stance.
90 defense. Penalty is declined.
And you said it, Jim. The high tempo has given Jim Tressel and Jim Haycock and the defense of the Buckeyes all kinds of trouble here in the 2nd half.
Here's the penalty, Thaddeus Gibson. You see right there, he is in the neutral zone when the ball is snapped. Going to roll out to the right. Shipley's going to angle route right at the end zone at the inside, and then the other receiver comes to the outside and does a crossing route to the back of the end zone for the hookup touchdown.
2 3-and-outs for the Buckeyes. 2 long touchdown drives this half for the Longhorns. Now the folks in the burnt orange starting to make a little bit more noise now. With a minute 4 left here in the third quarter, Quan Cosby has enjoyed a huge Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. 10 receptions, a career high, in what is his final game in a Longhorns uniform.
Just a great job of just drawing up that play. Shipley going one way into the end zone. Cosby coming back from the other side on the crossing route. And Ohio State was lost on defense.
Back-to-back long touchdown drives here in the third quarter for the Longhorns. This is Lamar Thomas to take the kick back from inside the 5. And Thomas is down at the 26-yard line. Inside of a minute left here in the third quarter. And now the true freshman quarterback Terrell Pryor down by a couple of scores. Pryor decides to keep. And he's forced out of bounds at the 32 by Roderick McElroy, a gain of 5.
And they're going to have to continue to do that, I think, with McElroy to spy him. And I think Will Muschamp, the defensive coordinator, knowing what Terrell Pryor was able to do to him in the first half with his legs, has taken one of his defenders and said, you're going to spy. You're going to sit right in the hole. You're going to watch number 2, and you're going to mirror him. And whichever way he goes, you run with him to keep him from picking up a big gain with his legs.
On 2nd and 5, Pryor to throw. Here comes the pass rush, and down goes Pryor. The big senior, Roy Miller. The second time tonight that the Longhorns have gotten to Pryor.
What a great get off by Roy Miller. They turned the protection one way and they turned away from him, and Jimmy Cordell, the left guard, just had no chance. By the time Jim Cordell got out of his stance and tried to turn on Roy Miller, Miller was already by him and accelerating to the quarterback for the sack.
We're going to the fourth quarter. At the end of 3, 17-6 Texas. Will return after this break and a word from your local Fox station. It's a 3rd and long for the Buckeyes. It'll open the fourth quarter. They've got both quarterbacks on the field. Terrell Pryor split wide at the bottom of your screen. Todd Beckman out of the shotgun. He feels the heat and throws the deep ball. Robisky lays out and makes the grab.
Great job by Beckman, not only stepping up and eluding pressure, but then just throwing a ball that's absolutely on target. There's Robisky on Curtis Brown out on the edge. He's going to have the other safety now that's going to peel and try to get off of him, and then watch Robisky just lay out for that football and come down with it. That is a huge play for Ohio State, who have really been limited in the third quarter here in terms of picking up yards offensively. That was a terrific throw from Beckman.
And Beckman stays at quarterback. Pryor at the top of your screen. The pass goes in the other direction. Incomplete for Sonsenbacher. Well, the son of the Atlanta Falcons wide receiver coach doing it just like Dad taught him.
Well, and I think Brian Robisky is a lot faster than people give him credit for. You can see that he's got very sure hands right there. He's a good route runner. You know, he'll be good at the next level in pro football. He'll develop his pro body. He'll get stronger, but I think people have underestimated his speed. Every time you watch a game, he seems to run by somebody. One thing people don't know about him is he anchored the 4x100 relay team, the track team at Ohio State.
Another big 3rd down here. Pryor keeps it and throws, almost intercepted. You know, Earl Thomas is pleased with himself for knocking that one away, but that's a ball that should have been picked.
Terrell Pryor makes a nifty move to get out of the way of the defenders. He could have taken off and run that for 10 yards. Instead, he tried to force it into Robisky, who was well covered and just didn't put enough air under the football. I mean, he came up about 3 yards short on that throw That was one certainly that Earl Thomas should have picked off.
You know, credit Robisky for preventing Thomas for picking that off. He grabbed the arm and wrestled it free of the football. This will be a 43-yard attempt for Petrie. Boy, that would have been good from 53 yards away. Points for the Buckeyes. Tostitos Fiesta Bowl trophy on the line tonight, along with some significant dents in recruiting and preseason rankings among the other things up for grabs. These are more than just exhibition games, folks. Back to a one-possession game. 17-9 Texas. A couple of third-quarter Longhorn touchdowns. A field goal moments ago by the Buckeyes, make it the one-possession affair. Jordan Shipley now is across the 20 and down at the 21-yard line. And the defense scrambling. McCoy runs the play fake. Gets away from Nader. Abdallah still going and really pays the price. Ball's out. Ball came out. It's Texas football as it trickled out of bounds, and McCoy is very fortunate that no Buckeye was able to bounce on it. Colt McCoy got smoked at the end of this play.
He sure did. He's going to come all the way back reverse field and then watch. Oh yeah, it was Hayward right there who hit him, and then McCoy trying to unload the ball. Worthington hits him right there, and then Malcolm Jenkins comes up and delivers the final hit on Colt McCoy, and that ball went out of bounds.
After all that, a loss made 2nd and 18 now for the Horns. After Mac Brown spent Texas his first time out of the half. McCoy with the deep ball, single man coverage in the corner. Does he make the catch inbounds? No, Malcolm Williams is out of bounds. Well defended by Malcolm Jenkins.
Looked like Malcolm Williams actually had a step or two on Malcolm Jenkins, but it's just not a good throw. It's behind him and it's outside. And let's see if he comes down. Yeah, he looked like he was out of bounds when he came down with the catch. That's not a great throw because Malcolm Williams had Malcolm Jenkins beat on that takeoff route down the sideline.
Texas 5 of 13 on third down, as you see in the top right-hand corner of your screen. A 3rd and long. 3rd and 18. McCoy scrambling. Thaddeus Gibson misses him. Colt directing traffic and finally throws it away. So on this occasion, it's the Buckeyes defense that bends without breaking.
Yeah, that's a big stop. And I'll tell you where Ohio State has had their most success at rushing the passer today is when Colt McCoy just takes a traditional 5 or 7 step drop back and where his launch point's going to be behind the line of scrimmage. Where they've had trouble and where Texas has had success, especially here in the second half, is moving the pocket, rolling Colt McCoy out by design one way or another, and letting him have a run pass option read.
The rugby-style freshman punter Justin Tucker rolls a slow baby bouncy up the middle. It'll be downed as a touchback. Buckeyes down 8 with just over 10 minutes left in the game, and they start this drive without Beanie Wells on the field. 1st and 10 from the 20. Pryor gets out of trouble and throws for Robisky. Robisky makes another wonderfully acrobatic catch for a 1st down. How did he hang on to that football? A gain of 16.
What a great play by Brian Robisky. Never giving up on it. You're going to see him here. He's going to get behind the corner, excuse me. He runs the corner off, and then now it's just a scramble drill.
1st down Buckeyes. You know, Brian Robisky's receiving numbers in 2008 less than half of what they were last year because it's an entirely different offense this season.
Well, once Terrell Pryor got in the lineup for Beckman, the 4th game of the year, really started at USC in the 3rd game. It all changed in terms of the reception opportunities for those wide receivers.
Option look, Pryor keeps it again. No Beanie Wells on the field. They didn't need him on this play call. Into Longhorn territory, 1st down Buckeyes. And speaking of no Beanie, let's check in with Laura Oakman.
You guys Buckeyes are definitely not the only ones wondering where he is. Every teammate keeps walking up to him as he's sitting here on the bench going, what's wrong? Are you coming in? Just talked to Ohio State's trainer. Right now he is out. He took a shot to the head, said they are watching him, they are monitoring him, and pretty much series to series making a call on if he's ready to go back in or not.
Lauren, thanks. Just 4 carries for 10 yards this half as compared to the 96-yard opening half for him. So it's Boom Herron in the backfield. Pryor runs a play fake and misfires, looking for his tight end Jake Ballard.
You can tell by watching Terrell Pryor that there's a lot of growth and development still left. I mean, he's a true freshman.
Let's face it, he's less than a year removed from arriving in Columbus as the top quarterback prospect in the country as a freshman. Keeps this one and has another big gainer. Still going to first down and more as Pryor is out of bounds inside the 25.
Well, he's just going to make the read. The DN's going to get stuck upfield. They're going to wall off Lamar Houston, the defensive tackle. Rashad Babineau takes a bad angle, as does Earl Thomas, and that quarterback will do that to you. He is such a long strider. He doesn't look like he's moving that fast, but there's nobody gaining ground on him when he's going north and south.
Terrell Pryor back at quarterback now. That last pass was intended for Brian Hartline. Pryor's hit as he throws, and it comes up short for Robisky with a flag on the play. But Mack is furious. He's claiming that ball was uncatchable.
That ball was so short of Brian Robisky, but I think if it's short, it's catchable. I mean, if it's deep over his head and outside the white stripe, that's uncatchable. But I think short, when they're short, they're considered catchable by the official.
Pass interference, number 7 on the defense. After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 13 on the defense. First down.
A pair of penalties against the Longhorns. First, this is the PI call on Dion Beasley, and then they get the other corner, Ryan Palmer, on the unsportsmanlike conduct.
Well, to me, it's not even close for Dion Beasley. He definitely prohibited Brian Robisky from getting back to the football. That's a perfect call by the official. He got that one right.
So once again, the Buckeyes will throw Todd Beckman in at quarterback. And they put Terrell Pryor wide at the top of your screen.
When are they going to throw a fade route to Terrell Pryor out there on the edge when Beckman's at quarterback?
They've had it in our minds certainly for the entire game. But there he is at the top of your screen. There's the fade route. And there's the touchdown. Nice call, Karnak. A pair of quarterbacks hooking up on a 5-yard touchdown toss. Beckman to Pryor, and now the question becomes, do the Buckeyes line up for 2? For Terrell Pryor, his first reception as a Buckeye.
I don't even think there's a question of lining up for 2. I think absolutely. And that's absolutely the right call. I mean, man coverage out there on Terrell Pryor, who's every bit of 6'6". Believe me, we talked to him the other day. He is a legitimate 6'6", had a big advantage on the corner. That was a jump ball. Beckman threw it up for grabs. Pryor came down with it for the touchdown.
You saw the note. This is the Buckeyes' first 2-point conversion attempt this year. Incomplete, intended for Robisky, and that one was well short. It's a 2-point game in the desert. 17-15 Longhorns with 7:26 remaining here in the fourth. Aaron Petrie is on to kick it away. Cosby and Shipley deep for Texas. Jordan Shipley from the goal line. And Shipley is tackled shy of the 20. First and 10 Texas from the Longhorns 19. Oh, and the quick pass is almost picked off. It was intended for Brandon Collins. Donald Washington jumped that route and almost came up with the football.
I don't think Jordan Shipley or Brandon Collins, either one of them, thought it was to them. They thought it was to the other guy. McCoy threw it right in between him, and Donald Washington could have very easily come up with an interception there. There's the throw. Watch, he puts it right in between the two receivers. There was some confusion on who that ball was going to by the wideouts.
McCoy settles for the short gainer to Quan Cosby, a gain of 3. That's 11 receptions, a career high for Cosby. Make it 3rd and 7. 3rd and 7. McCoy has time. Dumps it incomplete for Collins.
Really good job by Ross Holman, the linebacker. Here he is, 51. Watch him pick up the crossing route. Brandon Collins, he's all over it. And then, of course, not a real good throw by Colt McCoy behind the receiver, allowed the defender to get to it. If he lays that out in front of Brandon Collins, maybe he has an opportunity to get a reception and run a little bit after the catch. But real good coverage, hunting up the crossing route by Ross Holman.
Boy, so in the possession after the scoring drive by the Buckeyes, the 5-yard TD reception. A big-time momentum shift at 3 and out. And the rugby-style punt is out of bounds at the 27-yard line. Buckeyes begin the drive from their own 27. Pryor with the option look. Slips a tackle and is taken down at the 34 by Earl Thomas. You know, as flat as the Ohio State offense looked in the 3rd quarter, Tim, that touchdown drive, they get on the board for 6. Fans in Columbus are aware of how good their scoring offense has been in the 4th quarter, outscoring opponents nearly 3-1. Second and short now. It's Boom Herron in the backfield with Pryor out of the shotgun. And he hands it to Herron, who has the first down. Chris Myers.
Number 32, Eddie Jones, one of the reserve defensive linemen of the Texans, who's part of their regular rotation, has been out this half because of an ankle injury, and it's starting to show in terms of some of the depth on the defensive line because of the quarterback combination and the running of Pryor. Looks like a lot of the Longhorn linemen are getting winded. It was something they were discussing after the last series.
Chris, thanks. The Buckeyes have rushed for nearly 200 yards here, and they're doing it against the 2nd-ranked run defense in the nation. Uh-oh. Miscommunication. Ball's out. Pryor and Herron got tangled up in the backfield, and the Buckeyes are very fortunate that Herron was able to recover.
Terrell Pryor, he just never catches it. That's what it is. I mean, he never, ever gets 2 hands on it and grasp it to turn and try to stick it in the belly of Herron, and then cannot corral it. And Herron keeps his eye on it and very fortunately pounces on it before 3 or 4 Longhorn defenders could get to it.
Todd Beckman back in at quarterback. So that splits Pryor again wide at the top of your screen. 2nd and 17. Beckman throws over the middle. It's caught by the tight end Jake Ballard for a first down. Jake Ballard made a fantastic shoe-top grab. Only 4 receptions all year, but he has played a role tonight.
Shallow crossing route. Roderick McElroy is trying to cover him in man coverage, and look at him reach down and fingertip that ball down around the level of his knees. What an outstanding catch by Ballard.
A 21-yard gain as the Buckeyes are into Texas territory. Again, no Beanie Wells on the field for Ohio State. It's Maurice Wells with Pryor. Out of the shotgun, dancing, looking for a crease. And he runs out of bounds.
I'm telling you, if Pryor's playing quarterback, if I'm Texas on defense, I'm playing the run almost every time. it doesn't even look like he's trying to throw the football anymore. A couple times on the last drive, he dropped back and threw it, but for the most part here down the stretch for the last 10 minutes or so, when they're on offense, he's getting it, looking for an opening along the front, and then just trying to exploit it and run with his legs.
2nd and 9. Beckman back in at QB. It's an empty backfield. Pryor at the bottom of your screen this time. Pass goes the other way for Rubisky, who breaks a tackle and is down the sideline out of bounds at the 25. First down, Buckeyes.
What a play by Todd Beckman. Are you kidding me? He sees a Rakpo coming unblocked off the edge and knows that he's got Brian Rubisky on an out route and delivers an absolute strike. Look at the hit. I mean, he knows he's going to get blasted and still delivers a perfect pass to Rubisky, who then runs away from the defender for a big pickup. I love the fact Todd Beckman's out there having an impact on this football game. Great spot for the senior quarterback.
This is Pryor this time, as he hands it off to Boom Herron, and Herron is down at the 15. Earl Thomas saved the touchdown by grabbing a piece of the jersey.
Well, they caught a run stunt here by Texas, trying to stunt down inside. And then Jared Norton gets picked up by the pulling guard, and then Earl Thomas is the only guy left between Boom Herron in the end zone and is able to get a touchdown-saving tackle right there. But what a huge hole created by that offensive line, just taking a slanting defense and pushing them the way they were slanting.
Third trip to the red zone for the Buckeyes. The previous two have resulted in a field goal and a touchdown. And again, it's Herron. Same corner, touchdown, Buckeyes! Oh, that came way too easy. A 15-yard touchdown run, and the Buckeyes go back out on top.
Caught him again with a run blitz. And they all come down inside. Look at McElroy get walled off. And then Blake Gideon in an open field on Boom Herron. Not even close. Herron sticks a foot in the grass outside, cuts back to the inside, and the true freshman safety, Blake Gideon, couldn't make the tackle in.
Well, Jim Tressel wants this at a 6-point differential. A huge difference trying to prevent against a touchdown drive without a PAT beating it. Pryor keeps it, throws over the middle, and the 2-point conversion is no good. Rory Nickel could not hang on to make the catch.
That's one of the best throws all night by Terrell Pryor. I mean, he lasered that right into where only Rory Nickel could get it. Watch, they're going to roll him to the right. There's Nickel there on the crossing route. This is just a perfect throw. I mean, it couldn't be any better, and Rory Nickel just can't hang on to it.
So it's a 4-point lead for the Buckeyes with 2 minutes and 5 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. Texas has 2 timeouts left.
You know that the fans at home are asking themselves, did we score, if you're Ohio State, too fast with 2:05 left on the clock?
Well, the BCS ramifications for a Buckeye upset here are staggering. Fans of the Utah Utes watching with keen interest. Jordan Shipley. He's taken a kick back for a touchdown this year. He's stuffed at the 21 this time. Well, Texas has been backed up before. And if any quarterback is going to direct an 80-yard scoring drive, or at least one to get him into field goal position, it's Colt McCoy. As that one's caught by Cosby, who's down at the 27. Of the 78 scoring drives put together by the Longhorns offense this year, 25 of them, a third, have covered at least 80 yards. They need to get into the end zone here, down by 4. And he's going to his hot receiver Cosby for the first down. Again, Texas has 2 timeouts left as we're at 1:26 in the 4th. Here comes Gibson over the middle, and it's nearly intercepted. Anderson Russell had the better position than Cosby on that ball.
Well, you couldn't throw it much better if you're Colt McCoy. It's a deep in route like Quan Cosby, but watch, it's going to come into this part of your screen back here. Watch Anderson Russell come over the top and try to get to that football. Good defense by the safety playing back deep.
McCoy gets out of the way of Laurinaitis and Worthington and gets out of bounds at the 38. 1:07 left on the game clock.
Tell you, for an offense that all year has really exploited people with the big play, the 25-yard, the 30-yard, the 40-yard play, this Ohio State defense has given very few of those big plays throughout this football game. They got to feel good about it right now with a minute to go.
They leave it back with McCoy. This will be a free play as he has it complete out to Brandon Collins. Collins is down across midfield, a 13-yard gain.
Offside, number 13 defense. Penalty is declined. First down.
So the Longhorns take advantage of that free play and convert. They're into Buckeye territory right at the midfield mark, that is. Again, Mack Brown has done this come from behind routine before. Again, it's Collins who dances out of bounds at the 42. And this is where this finely tuned offense as put together by Greg Davis, Tim, is at its best. The ball comes out so quickly.
It really does. And that time, McCoy again diagnosing a blitz and getting rid of it. If I'm Ohio State defensively right now, I let my 4-man rush get there. I keep 7 guys in coverage to try to make Colt McCoy throw the ball up in front of the defenders and then come make the tackle.
McCoy's pass is dropped again, looking for Collins. Sophomore wideout, factoring promisingly on this drive.
Because the minute, if you're Jim Heacock defensively, you send 2 extra rushers, that's going to mean man coverage on the back end, which is going to mean the opportunity for a big play over the top for Texas on offense.
3rd and 3. The Longhorns are 6 of 16 on 3rd down conversion attempts. They've been at their best tonight when they've been in their hurry-up mode. This time the Buckeyes defense has a chance to read and set. Here comes Laurinaitis on the blitz. Over the middle, almost picked off by Rob Rose. Big defensive end doesn't have the good hands. At least not on that drive.
Well, a little zone blitz right here, dropping out the defensive tackle. Colt McCoy didn't even see it. There's Rob Rose right there. Watch number 9. He's just going to get back in coverage. Should have had himself an interception at point-blank range.
That's going to bring up 4th down and Fiesta Bowl. Here's your football game. The catch is made by James Kirkendall. Buckeyes think they stopped it. They're going to drag the chains out onto the field here. It's absolute bedlam down there. It looked like Jim Tressel and his staff were displeased with the spot, to put it mildly. They mark it at the 40. That is right where they needed to be. First down, Texas. The Longhorns have life.
And you can see there, he was already by the 40-yard line. Yeah, forward, to me, forward progress was right there at the 40. That's a good spot by the referee.
Good job by Dennis Hennigan and his Big East crew. From the Ohio State 40, 1st and 10, 38 seconds left.
Got to find Quan Cosby.
McCoy for Collins and another first down. And Brandon Collins is slow to get to his feet. Limping back into position, under 30 seconds now. Again, the Longhorns have 2 timeouts. Over the middle, all alone, touchdown Texas! And what a way for Quan Cosby to end his Longhorns career. There are flags on the play.
What a read from Colt McCoy and his #1 receiver, Quan Cosby. I told you they had to find him. He's had the biggest game out of all the wideouts today. And he caught Ohio State with their linebackers mugged up at the line of scrimmage. Cosby sees it, McCoy sees it. He runs a slant route in front of the safety, out leverages him, and then there's nobody to tackle him with the linebackers up close to the line of scrimmage.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. #7 on the offense. Excessive demonstration. Penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
All that means is that Texas leads 23-21 with 16 seconds left. And Buckeye BCS hearts perhaps about to be broken once again. The point after by Hunter Lawrence is good. And the Buckeyes are looking for a miracle.
Matt, look at the linebackers. They're all uptight. There's the route right inside of the safety, Anderson, Russell, and then there's nobody behind them. And that's exactly what I talked about earlier. Keep everybody back in shell coverage to make sure and keep it all up in front of you. And to be able to rally up and make the tackle. They took a chance there by showing blitz with the linebackers all mugged up at the line of scrimmage. They run an in route on the safety. Just an outstanding hookup from quarterback to receiver for the touchdown.
1:49, 11 plays, 79 yards for Colt McCoy. A career high now, 413 passing yards. And what a night for Quan Cosby. A career high 14 catches, 172 receiving yards. The 14 receptions ranks him very close to the top of the all-time Tostitos Fiesta Bowl receiving yardage list.
And to me, he's got to be the offensive player for the Texas football team. As good as the numbers are for Colt McCoy, and you mentioned him, over 400 yards. I mean, that's the biggest play of the season right there, that touchdown by Quan Cosby. And when they needed him most, he got himself into the end zone.
Still rocking the mullet in Austin. From the 22, Lamar Thomas. He is across the 40. 11 seconds and 2 timeouts for the Buckeyes. And what a night it's been for the graduating wideout, Quan Cosby. 14 receptions, 172 receiving yards, and 2 touchdowns. McCoy to Cosby, Tim, as you mentioned, is first on the all-time UT quarterback to wide receiver combination chart, and they have cemented their place in history tonight.
He had such a huge game tonight, there with the touchdown there just a minute ago. And then how about the touchdown run by Colt McCoy in the 3rd quarter? Remember the block that he delivered to spring the quarterback. Quan Cosby has been everywhere in this football game.
The Buckeyes have another couple of cracks at it. Beckman back at quarterback. Flush down, and down he goes. Jim Tressel burns a timeout with 5 seconds and likely one play
Ohio
left
State.
tonight.
Second time out of the half.
Brian Arakpo, the Longhorns' leading sack artist, who had 10.5 during the season, scores his first tonight. What a wild second half. Just to bring you up to speed, for those that might be joining us late, 6-3 after one half of football. Since that time, it has been a hurried up Texas offense, a creative Ohio State offense that has led us to the 24-21 Longhorns lead here with 5 seconds left.
And what a contrast in half. Both for, you mentioned Texas and what they did in terms of exposing that firepower offensively and getting that out there against that Ohio State defense. But Chris Beanie Wells, the first half that he was able to have for Ohio State at 14 carries or 12 carries, up to 96 yards, got hurt in the second half and has not had an impact.
Hail Mary. Robisky's in the neighborhood. That falls incomplete, and the Texas Longhorns are Tostitos Fiesta Bowl champions. Well, for the 51 seniors wearing both uniforms combined here tonight, a decidedly different result. Those in the burnt orange will ride off into the Austin Sunset winners. And for the 28 Ohio State seniors moving on, guys like James Laurinaitis, a frustrating loss here in the desert. When we come back from a break, Chris Rose and the guys in the studio, and we'll have more from the field here in Glendale, Arizona. The Longhorns, Tostitos Fiesta Bowl winners.
It seems like all of Texas is here for the fantastic finish at the Fiesta Bowl in Phoenix. The Texas Longhorns are champions. And to present the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl Championship Trophy, Dave Tilson, who is the chairman of the board of the Fiesta Bowl.
Coach, it's my honor to present the 38th annual Tostitos Fiesta Bowl game trophy to Mack Brown and the University of Texas Longhorns. What a game.
Wow. You don't want to do that hook 'em horns thing with that in your hands. Congratulations, Coach. I know you had to run over and sing the Eyes of Texas. This was an emotional game, a fantastic finish.
Well, it was. Let's credit Coach Jim Tressel, a great Ohio State football team, two of the best programs in the country. They did a great job. What about these Longhorn fans? They're unbelievable. We'd like to thank Dave and John, the Fiesta Bowl committee, for just a wonderful week. But really, this is the senior class is tied for the winningest senior class in Texas football history. And what a great group of young people. Congratulations to the team.
Coach, we were almost out of time until you got the touchdown you needed to win. Take us through the play call. You knew you had Colt. You'd been through these kinds of things before.
Well, when you've got guys like Colt, Quan, an offensive line like we've got, running backs, great defense throughout the year. This team started this way and they finished this way, and they're obviously one of the best teams in the country, if not the best.
I know this is about Texas and the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, but in the bigger picture, championship, one loss, you know who you beat. Should you be in the mix there?
Yes. I wasn't sure before. Right now, Friday morning, I'm going to vote Texas #1 because I think this is the best team in the country.
All right, that's pretty clear. Thanks again.
Thank you, Chris.
Chris, thanks. And everybody in the little old one stoplight town of Tuscola, Texas is smiling tonight. The Longhorns are Tostitos Fiesta Bowl champs. Chris Rose and the studio when we're back right after this.